Garam masala is a spice mix. Now, without getting into Ayurvedic medicine, imagine it's a cold winter day and you just want a nice, warm, cozy drink. Maybe you're reaching for a hot apple cider or a pumpkin spice latte to warm your cold, dead heart. Well, the spices used in those drinks are all warming spices, aka colonization. Yeah, you almost had it. What's cool about garam masala is there is no one recipe. You could be missing an important ingredient and still have the audacity to call it your top secret garam masala. The simplest garam masala out there is a Bengali standard: cinnamon, cardamom, and cloves. Simple, yet incredibly fragrant and effective. If we get a little more daring, we can add subtle licorice flavors like star anise, bay leaves, and fennel seeds. Some people like it spicy with black pepper and ground ginger. Others go for a more floral garam masala with coriander, mace blades, and rose petals. Go ahead and screenshot these. You could try one or all four of them out. I don't know what that was about. As you progress in your garam masala journey, you'll find some attributes more appealing to your senses. Maybe you like a really smoky garam masala, so you add a little bit more black cardamom. Or you really hate that licorice taste, so you never add anise seeds. Whatever the case is, this is a great opportunity to test things out. See what you like, see what you don't like. Now, you may have noticed that you don't see certain spices that you would commonly associate with a curry powder. Spices like turmeric, fenugreek, chilies. That's because those spices are generally added earlier on in the cooking process where... Really, Guyana? At least we can agree on one thing all across the globe. You never add chilies to a garam masala. Garam masala, unlike some trash curry powder, is a special kind of spice mix, often known as a finisher. You often see it used at the end of the cooking process along with sugar, citrus, and some greens. And you also always see it in very small quantities, and that's because it's really powerful and strong. If you add it too early on the cooking process or at too high of heat, it starts to lose its aroma and gets a little bit bitter. See how little we're putting? And now, turn off the heat. Check out this recipe next if you want. Hi, Editing Shazad here. Great cooking isn't just about following a recipe. It's about understanding flavors and trusting your instincts. But getting there can take years of trial and error, and let's face it, you don't have the patience to be creating mediocre recipes you find online. So I created a coconut chicken curry course to fast track that journey, helping you unlock your intuition in the kitchen. In this course, you'll learn how to balance spices, adjust flavors on the fly, and develop the confidence to fix any dish that doesn't go as planned, no matter how much time you have until people come over. No more stress, just a deep sense of control. By the end, you won't just be making coconut curry. You'll be creating other dishes like pastas and ramens that feel effortless, natural, and truly yours. I'll leave a link in the description below. And thank you for directly supporting the channel. Let's get back to it, okay? Like coffee, spices benefit immensely from being roasted. I mean, you're not gonna drink a green coffee, right? So why settle for a half-assed spice mix? A pre-ground spice mix that comes in a giant bag on sale at your local South Asian store is missing the point entirely. I mean, those spices might be 5 years old and are missing every single bit of magic garam masala is supposed to have. For you coffee drinkers out there, you can clearly taste the difference between a freshly ground cup of 30 Wave coffee and Folgers. But look, I get it. If you really can't be bothered to make your own spice mix, at least you gotta trust a spice vendor. I've never tried their garam masala, but a company like Diaspora Company who actually cares about the taste and freshness of their ingredients. If you already bought a bag of that 5-year-old spice mix and you clicked on this video because you're trying to figure out how to use it, go ahead and use it in a marinade with some salt, garlic, ginger, lemon, oil, and some fresh herbs. If you want some tips and tricks on how to get the most out of your marinade, check out this video next. If your garam masala is fresh, you're only gonna need a little. And if it's not, well, you're gonna need a little more. And you gotta get rid of that bag anyways, right? It's not gonna have that same garam masala magic, but it will get the job done. Just like a shitty cup of Folgers. Now that we understand the two most common ways of using garam masala, as a spice mix in a marinade or as a finisher in sauces, let's gather our whole spices and roast a garam masala together. We do have a few options here. You can either put them on a sheet pan and put them in the oven, or what I recommend if this is your first time is to roast them individually on the stove. For one, your house is gonna light up with a beautiful smell of spices. And two, you'll be able to really associate that smell with the taste of the spice. You're also gonna understand how long each of these spices need to be roasted for. Bigger and denser spices will need more time, whereas smaller spices like coriander and cumin only need a minute or two. Then eventually you can work your way up to roast them all at the same time, like we're about to do. We already looked up a few garam masala recipes, so I'm gonna do a more regional one, a Oaxacan garam masala.
Everybody's so creative.
To make it Oaxacan, I'm gonna add local ingredients like allspice, cacao, cacao flour, and the Oaxacan chili pasilla. You never add chilies to a garam masala. Yeah, whatever. We wanna start off with a medium hot pan. First, we're gonna go in with our dense spices. Allspice, cacao, cardamom, and our cinnamon. We're just gonna let these slowly warm up until they get a little bit brown. As they get a little bit darker, I can mix them around, make sure they don't burn. Okay, they're getting a little color on them, so I'm gonna add our second round. Cloves. These are kind of in the middle, so they need a little bit more time than the more delicate stuff, but less time than these guys. Ooh, cloves smell so nice. Okay, now I can go in with our coriander, pasilla chili with no seeds, bay leaf, cacao flowers, and our mace leaves. And I'm just gonna let this roast until they get lightly brown. I can already start to smell everything, and you can hear things popping a little bit. I wanna make sure that it browns on all sides, not just on one, and it doesn't get too dark anywhere. All right, now that all these are lightly toasted and really, really fragrant, I'm gonna take these off the heat and let them fully cool before we start grinding them. We just coaxed out all the oils from this, so if we don't let it cool down, it's gonna be a sticky mess when we're trying to grind. Okay, we're ready. The final ingredient I'm gonna add, which I don't really feel benefits from toasting, is nutmeg. Okay, cool. Now you can put it in an airtight jar and just make sure it's in a cool, dry place. It should last a couple weeks to a couple months, and this is kind of a lot. So what can I make with garam masala?